Wanted to do a video on showcasing all of the holiday events that various games that either I play or I own are doing, and some of them are kind of nice. So for first off, we have World of Tanks, and they changed the garage slash camp to being winter themed. They pretty much did an event that is more or less the exact same that they did last year, but at the same time it still works pretty well, so don't fix what isn't broken, right? So by playing a few games doing a certain specific things, you can get these small boxes. So let's see what's inside the boxes, and then you get these ornaments to decorate your camp with. Various decorations, as well as a few odds and ends of random goodies like fire extinguishers. So I pretty much played only one game per day because I was able, on a good battle, I could get like 8 boxes or so in one match. So I pretty much got everything maxed out, just from doing one thing a day pretty much. And what's new in addition to this year is what they call snow maidens, and Santa Claus's cousin there or something. But once you get to a sufficient level, you unlock one at 4, your second one at 6, third one at 8, and then the last one at 10, and then you can get a box from the one of your choosing. And then you also get a mission with that to get 5 times experience for a win. So that is very good. So overall, looking at the rewards here, just by logging in, you get a tier 2 premium that they pretty much give out, like a low tier premium every year, and most of them are not really anything special. I mean, the one this year is okay. I haven't actually tried it out because I don't really play low tier games, but each of the Snow Maidens are actually crew members that have a skill but not counted as a skill at experience wise, so you basically get a free skill slot for them, and then all of these blueprints to help you research stuff faster. So overall this year they did give out a pretty good amount of rewards. They also made it only 4 times experience. Besides Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, it was 5 times, so I'm not like, I don't understand, like, why did they make it 4 times instead of 5? Like, what? But the other thing, as you can see here are I put the Snow Maidens in the Swedish medium tank. So overall, not too bad. The AMX M4 Emily 51 was probably like the most enjoyment that I've actually had with this game in quite a while, though the gameplay is still pretty garbage most of the time, so I still don't do much with World of Tanks. But this special event that they did this year, I mean, like I said, I pretty much only did 1 battle per day, and I was able to get the camp pretty much maxed out, aside from the large decorations that I don't really care about. And one thing to note here is that they have a snow sculpture of a double-barreled Waffenträger AV100. So any of you that remember that tier 10 tank destroyer when that was in the game, imagine that with 2 barrels. That would be yes. So moving on to the next game. So next on the list, here is World of Warships, and with the port for the holiday festivities, they have the whole town definitely suited to the occasion, and they've been giving away some pretty good goodies just by logging in. So there's some premium days, some boxes that may or may not contain some good stuff, even 100 doubloons. Unfortunately though, this is World of Warships premium account, and the problem with all of the wargaming games, and probably War Thunder as well, is that as soon as you acquire that premium account, it automatically starts when you get it. So if you don't want to play, like if you get a day of premium time and you don't want to play that day, you essentially waste it. And that is something that Armored Warfare, let's just say, holds very well in Armored Warfare's favor. In that game, you have an inventory where you can choose when to use your gifted premium days. So, let's just say Armored Warfare does that a whole lot better than all of these games in that sense. Like right here, a three days of World of Warships premium account. Like, I don't plan on playing World of Warships in the next 3 days. So, but yeah. So there's some nice goodies just from logging in, and the port is very festive atmosphere and nice music too. Although, this year, at the very end of the year, let's just say, for any of you who don't really play World of Warships, Wargaming decided to kind of set their own ocean on fire with an event for the end of the year. So, called the Dockyard, and I'll get into why that is in a moment here after it loads. So, overall, the Dockyard is supposed to be a way in order to get a quote-unquote free Tier 10 premium ship, the Puerto Rico. So, collect the reward here since it was coal. So, I mean, you do get some nice goodies like free flags and some coal and a box and whatnot. So, the reason why I say that they set their ocean on fire on this one is that they, advertising this, Wargaming pretty much made it sound incredibly easy. Well, maybe not incredibly easy. They made it sound very manageable to obtain a Tier 10 premium for free. And I actually have a Tier 10 premium. I think they're kind of overrated, to be honest. Because they do not make the amount of credits that I think they should. But regardless, so they have this unique premium ship that they advertised on and on again. It's simple to get this ship if you play, a decent amount throughout the month of this event. And as you can see here, I haven't really done anything for this. I have only had the 131 points, which is the standard speed plus the free sheds, in order to get 131 points per minute. And it kind of reminds me of Adventure Capitalist, where it just builds up over time, and then you also get to see the ship in construction here. Which the Dockyard, as many people have said, I agree with, is the Dockyard is a fantastic idea, and it looks great, animation-wise, and everything. The problem lies in the grind to get this ship, and the reason why I said no way I'm even gonna bother trying to do it. And Well, first of all, you have these doubloon boosters, which if you want to get all three of them, it costs $100 US dollars worth of doubloons in order to get these three. And even by paying that, you aren't even guaranteed to get the ship. Like, even if you got these right from the start, you only finish like a little bit over half of it by the end of the event. So that means you still need to grind what's called shipbuilding tokens in order to get some of these as well. So in my mind anyway, my personal opinion, if you spend $100 on something like this, you should be guaranteed to get it. Like, in all seriousness, in my mind, if you pay $100, you should get the ship outright. Instead, Wargaming made it so that after you spend these 3 boosters, you have to spend another, like, I think it was 35,000 doubloons. So essentially the ship is like $250, which is way overpriced. I mean, like I said, I have a tier 10 premium myself that I earned by getting coal. I have the Yoshino, and it does not make the credits that a tier 10 premium sound like it should. Okay, so yeah. And it might sound simple, well, just do, these. Well, how you get shipbuilding tokens for this event, you have these missions. And the first directive, as they're calling it, isn't terrible. I mean, it's doable, but annoying. Like, here, set 100 fires, but it's in battleships or cruisers. Well, okay. But this one, fire damage by doing carriers or destroyers. So there isn't, like, any... Throughout all of these, there really isn't synergy between the missions, which... Yeah. Like, earn... What is that? 4 million credits in aircraft carriers. Do 4 million credits in battleships, cruisers, destroyers, and, well, you're going to do this anyway if you got those 12 million credits in total and 65 ships killed and whatnot. Like, that's a lot. I mean, if I ground at 16 million credits, even with doing premiums, like, yeah, no. I mean, I could have done it, but as you can see by me going along here, they made the damage numbers for some of these go way up. Like, get 36 million of potential damage, or is that 30? That's 36 million, yeah, 36 million. 85,000 base XP. Yeah, I don't think so. So, to give you an idea of how long some of these missions would take, is that for the base XP one, on a win, I might get 1,200 to maybe 1,600 on a decent battle of base XP. And that's on a win. So, on a loss it would be like half of that, probably. So, just thinking about that, like 1,600, 85 divided by 85,000 divided by that 1,600. So yeah, that's no. I mean, I play World of Warships really casually. Like, I only have 3 tier 10s out of, I think, the over 4 years World of Warships had been out, and I have actually been playing roughly for about that time. It's just kind of a spurts of me playing from time to time. But as you go along here, like 105,000 base XP, and also keep in mind, you need to finish 6 of these in order to get 1 booster, essentially. But as you can go along here, what is that? 202 million credits? Something like that. 150,000 base XP, 350,000 XP. But the last one, it just gets really comical. They expect you to get 350,000 free XP in basically every single type of ship and nation. And 350,000 free XP here. You gain free XP at the normal rate is 5% of your normal XP. So basically, this times 20 would be the normal amount of XP you would need to even get this. So like in the millions. But even with signal flags and stuff that boost that, yeah, that's going to take a long time. So the reason why I'm spending so much time on this is that I was actually really excited for potentially doing stuff with this event. Thankfully it actually worked out, so I just said forget it, because I have an Armored Warfare campaign to do, as well as the Path of Exile new league and whatnot. But I was pretty excited for this, to be completely honest, and then they throw out there, like, even in the lower missions, 85,000 base XP, and that's one of the easier ones? Like, what? Who thought this was a good idea? Like, so, in all honesty, like, throughout this whole event, I mean, there's only 14 days of it left. Really, you should have been grinding for the Gorizia, which, from the sound of it, doesn't really seem super outstanding. I already have the Abruzzi, so I just didn't need another Tier 7 Italian premium cruiser. But but yeah, if you spent all 30 days to grind to get the free Gorizia, that is doable, I would say. But the whole rest of this, in order to get all of these in time to create the Puerto Rico, and of course there was no emphasis on the Abruzia pretty much whatsoever. They're just like, oh, here's a premium ship that you can buy to help you with the earlier missions if you want to get a head start on it or whatever. But yeah, I have the Abruzzi and the Genova, which the Genova is pretty trash, to be honest. But even still, like, the Abruzzi it's okay. I mean, it's not amazing. So I just didn't have any reason to do that. And so yeah, let's just say that whole mess definitely has burned Wargaming's backside quite fiercely the past few weeks. So yeah, and another thing too is that they mentioned that they want to revamp the legendary modules, which are basically modules that change that changes ships to be more niche, in all honesty, for the most part. Like for the Yamato, it increases your accuracy while making it so your turrets turn a lot slower. So they're not like flat out upgrades. They're, for the most part, they're not flat out upgrades. But they wanted to change it so that instead of doing a mission system, so let me go over here. So here are the legendary equipment unique upgrades. You do a series of missions in order to get them as soon as you get a tier 10. Like, what's wrong with that? And they're changing it to being part of what's called the Research Bureau, which is honestly probably one of the most disliked thing out of all of the world, World of Warships community. Well, besides this Puerto Rico event, where you reset your line progress. Like, who thought that was a good idea? So let's just say they're making it so that these unique upgrades, if you don't get them before they change them, which sounds like they might give you all 2020 in order to get it, it's locked behind something that you have to regrind ships, tier 10 ships for, which is like, out of my years of playing, I only have the Yamato, Des Moines, and the Zhao as my 3 normal tier 10s, and then I have the Yoshino that I spent coal for. And no. So yeah, World of Warships has been doing just so many things. Like I said, they set their own ocean on fire. So so I do apologize that I spent so long on this compared to probably the other games are going to, but I just really wanted to mention this this dumpster fire and the disappointment that, let's just say, I'm probably going to remember when I do a review of this game eventually. I do plan on doing a review of all the wargaming games at some point, so yeah. On to the next one. Last but not least, I have a World of Warplanes. So even though that this game definitely isn't known for having a huge player base, it still has at least an event, sort of an event, for the end of the year, which is this On Track to the Yak 7 M82 to get a free premium. I think it's a tier 5, but it doesn't actually say what tier it is, so nice job on that end. But doing each of the steps in order to get it, you get unique enhanced equipment. So that is kind of nice. The only problem though is that it's only for, I think, tiers 5 through 7 or tier 4 through 7 that can actually equip that, and the mission has only 7 days left. So, and pretty much for me anyway, I actually do this tier 7, the key 84. I was kind of thinking about possibly keeping it depending on what I think of the tier 9 and whether or not I would like the tier 10. So I put the legendary equipment on this thing because it's like the only thing I would think about playing for doing missions and whatnot. So while it's not as glamorous and outstanding as the other ones, they didn't revamp the hangar or anything. And also they have this mission for 10 tokens, which you can use to get premium time or hangar slot, aircraft slots and everything, basically for free if you get enough of them. So it's kind of a nice thing for free-to-play players, which for me, I stopped paying for Wargaming Premium account a while ago now, since I was fed up with how World of Tanks plays. And since I didn't play World of Warships or World of Warplanes up until this point very often, I just haven't been using a premium account. This one right here, the third mission on this, capturing 120 sectors, like the maximum that I would probably even do is like 5 maybe at the most. So that's a really time-consuming one, so I don't think I'm really going to bother with this one. The 200 aerial targets sounds doable, though. So all in all, I mean, it sounds like it would have been a nice way to get a decent premium for free in World of Warplanes, but at the same time, I finished the missions to get the Vampire F1 for free, and it's a tier 8 premium, so the amount of credits that I can earn is a lot more to say the least. And also the Vampire, once you get it specialized, it's pretty overpowered. I mean, even without being specialized, it's let's just say very powerful. But at the same time, I still think my Javelin setup is the ultimate overpowered build of any aircraft at this point. So, that was World of Warplanes. Don't worry, I have a few games that aren't wargaming related, so there might not be many, but there's at least a few. So, alright, now I have Armored Warfare, so didn't really expect this one, did ya? Now, Armored Warfare has been kind of a interesting turn of events for this game in the past year, but mainly on the holiday event side of things, they made it so that the garage here has snowmen and effects and whatnot. I think it's pretty much the same as they do every year, but it does look quite nice. So there is that. Also, with the new season, they have what's called seasons now, I guess. Is that normally the garage is actually outside in kind of like a southwestern deserty area, like Nevada, New Mexico kind of setting, which is kind of interesting. But it's been quite nice. So also this game has a special event that they do every year. It seems like I've already done a video on what this game mode is on my channel. If you're interested, if I remember, I may or may not put a link in the description, but we'll see. So that event is basically a global operations capture the flag sort of thing, and it's not bad actually. I quite like it if I can get into a game with it. Depending on your tier, yeah, definitely PvP related game modes are like nearly impossible to get into, even if I wanted to do them. So, but within the past year, Armored Warfare has been doing a lot of changes that actually made me interested in playing it regularly again. And that's kind of saying something, considering that last year or earlier this year, like, I had pretty much no desire to play this game, because ever since the Balance 2.0 changes that they did years ago, that I still have videos regarding before those changes were made, ever since then the game has basically tried to be like World of Tanks, but I played Armored Warfare to get away from World of Tanks. So then obviously that just conflicted with itself. But in the last year they've made some good changes, and the main change that they did was a change to the consumables. First of all, you can get a base, repair kit, med kit, and a fire extinguisher all for free on all your vehicles. So everyone is on an equal playing field, well, or at least has the basic consumables at their disposal for free for everyone. So that is a really good change, in my opinion. I mean, you can get one that you can use 3 times in a match. So, I mean, arguably you can technically pay to win in that sense. But in my opinion, it's not so much that it breaks the game sort of thing. It's kind of like the larger repair kits in World of Tanks. Like, I don't really have a problem with those, because, I mean, it fixes your critical damage, but it doesn't, besides that, it doesn't give you, like, an in-game advantage if you don't take critical damage, if that makes sense. But this game does have the energy drink, but it well, it's basically the same as a food consumable, but I feel like in this game, since most high-tier vehicles don't have loaders, it's not like a game-breaking thing, as well as your crew stats don't influence your view range, which is a big problem that I have with World of Tanks, where the premium food console gives you 5% more view range, and depending on what tier it is, especially tier 10s, it feels basically like you're breaking the game, and is required like on every light tank. Also, there is like a consumable that increases your speed. I don't know, like, I mean, World of Tanks has this as well, but I don't really find this to be like game breaking either. Also, that they changed the rebuild kit to also have a second variant, as well as you can refill your ammo for free once per PvE match. You can also respawn at least 2 times if you choose to spend credits for it, and whatnot. So overall, they have done a lot of changes to make it feel better. And then also, they have been like looking at different vehicles, and I mean, I still have a problem with main battle tanks. Like, I just feel like they aren't tanky enough, as ironic as that is these days. But I think they're getting better slowly, if that makes sense. So overall, I think Armored Warfare has improved quite a bit in the last year with those changes. Another thing that really stands out to me is that they have this battle path thing. I actually chose to put time into the battle path since Armored Warfare has a lower player base. What the battle path is basically a set of campaign. It's basically a 3-month campaign grind, in a sense, that if you get to the highest rank, you get a tier 10 premium. It's kind of like the Puerto Rico event, except not as ridiculously stupid, and it's for 3 months instead of 1. You have to get this currency called battle coins by either just playing the game or doing these various missions, and each rank requires a set amount. Going to level 10 to get the free, I say free, I mean you spend gold to unlock these missions, so a premium tank that you can acquire for spending that gold is the Sergeant York, which is basically one of the best damage-dealing tanks against low armored vehicles, which I consider it a Gatling gun tank at tier 5, sort of. And then you can get a tier 8 at rank 30, and then the tier 10 at rank 50. And I don't think I'm gonna get to rank 50, to be honest, just because I haven't been grinding on this as much as it probably requires, but I might get to the tier 8. So it's kind of like, in a sense, you spend gold to unlock these missions, so if you're going to play the game regularly anyway, you can get some nice goodies out of it. And also, since you can get gold by just logging in every day for a week, you get 100 gold per week. It's technically free anyway, if you save up that amount, which is what I did. And for the most part, it has been going pretty well, I think. But this challenge here, get 60 kills in 1 battle, get 50 kills in 2 battles, 45 in 3 battles. Yeah, this challenge right here is a whole lot of garbage, and pretty much requires you to play 1 tank at high tiers, doing the special operations missions to even have a hope of doing it. So that's kind of dumb. But overall, it hasn't been too bad. So that has been pretty nice as well. And honestly, for the tier 5 here, I've actually been getting a pretty good amount of credits and everything from this, which is interesting because Armored Warfare's credit system is based on your tier, so obviously tier 5s don't really earn that much typically, and my tier 8 through 10s probably would normally make more credits than a tier 5 premium, but this one does so much damage actually makes a good amount. Another thing I wanted to point out before I get off of Armored Warfare here is that they actually gave us a free Tier 6 premium, I think for Black Friday, I think it was. And I wouldn't say that it's a super amazing tank, but it's not bad either. So I don't know, I just wanted to point out, like, that is really ironic that World of Tanks gives out a free Tier 2 light tank premium, and then Armored Warfare gives us a Tier 6 tank destroyer. And if you're a free-to-play player, I mean, technically you could make a ton of credits with this tank if you use it in special operations. So I wanted to point that out as well. So Armored Warfare as a whole, it's gotten better, and the event is it's okay. The battle path is okay-ish. Besides that getting kills challenge, but definitely I'm looking forward to doing a review of this game at some point. So, moving on. And I think the last game that I'm going to do for my lineup is Guild Wars 2 of all things. Honestly, I don't think I've ever really shown Guild Wars 2 on my channel.
Processing list. Tammy, Dat, Thaddeus, Bexa, Thor, Tina, Tommy, Jularoo.
But either way, with that, when you go to the main area, this is not the main area. When you go to the human city called Divinity's Reach, the whole place will have a wintry atmosphere, just like the other game's hangars, except in this case it's a whole town. And
according to my predictions.
And in Explore mode, they actually have like this combat mode where you destroy the toys trying to... I don't really remember. I haven't actually played a round of this for a while. I'm in Explore mode, so I'm not actually playing a battle or anything. But I'm pretty sure you need to, like, destroy toys or something that want to get into the middle, or something along those lines. But either way, look at that. Also, one thing to note that I found that was very interesting was that the Elementist character finally can have a second set of weapons equipped. I remember when I first created an Elementist, for some reason, the Elementist was like the only character class that couldn't use two sets of weapons? I'm not really sure. Like, the only thing I can think of the reason why that was is because you have 4 different elements to choose from, and maybe they thought having a second set of weapons as well was too much or something. But I can switch between daggers and my staff now. But yeah, this is the Tix's airship.
Tammy, Dat, Thaddeus, Bexa,
Well, hello there!
Thor, Tina,
Cuckoo! Another
Tommy,
outstanding toy
Jularoo.
idea just occurred to me!
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure you fight toys. So I know this game is this video is getting to be
progresses according to my
a bit long, so I'm not actually going to show a full game of this with me being outside of Explore mode, but I do want to show the town again if I can get to... This has a waypoint for some reason. Okay then. Like, whatever, I guess. So let's get back to Divinity's Reach, as it's called. Leave the airship. And also they do have this winter style art here. I'm pretty sure that's actually a bit different from what I remember of last year, but for the most part the festivities in Guild Wars 2 is pretty much about the same as they do every year. But I did want to show this off as well, and I can't really think of any other game I would want to show off, and the funny thing is that the ground doesn't even load in right away, so it looks like you're loading. But you can get various stuff like different skins for weapons, I think armor, maybe even as well, and some crafting stuff. So all sorts of things you can earn by doing that minigame if you are so inclined, as well as probably some other minigames as well. But as you can see here, it is fully decorated, snowing, and everything. So yeah, that is, I think, the conclusion for this year's lineup of holiday event festivities. I don't think I have any other games that I would want to add to this, so I'm gonna leave it at that. It's probably gonna be a long enough video as it is. So any of you that enjoyed this, thank you very much for watching, and have a wonderful day.